my commandments. New mercies every day, that's what the scriptures say. But that doesn't mean continue to live this way. A righteous man falls down and gets back up again. But the wicked shall fall again and again. You know you got to keep God's commandments. Keep my commandments, that's what he said. Do what's right, or you'll be fighting for your life. God's commandments is the whole duty of man. It's the whole duty of man. New mercies fall upon us every day. That's what the scriptures say. But that doesn't mean that we can continue to live our lives this way. That's what he said. Ye are children tossed to and fro by winds of false doctrine. That's where you go. 5%ers, Islam, Kemet, Christianity, or Christian insanity. Come back to your God, Israel. For it has been made manifest to us what is pleasing to our Elohim. Keep my commandments, that's what he said. Do what's right, or you'll be fighting for your life. God's commandments is the whole duty of man. It's the whole duty of man. I love y'all, Israel.
Think you observing the kingdom? You think you can see when it's coming? It's building, it starts from within you. And the sound with a roar and the thunder, we add into bone with the flesh and the sin. You blow the breath upon you, purging all the evil. Beckon to the people till they get their leaders. Slaying all the eagles till the fall eat them. And no, we ain't write it, just call it and read it. You sin on the front, we just say what we seeing. We only out seeking the chosen of Isaac. Isaiah and light, you ain't think that we see us? Putting in work like they just didn't see us? Then give us credit on none of our labors. And they'll be trembling with terrible fear when they witness the strangeness of our salvation.
Gotta put our work in Israel. The kingdom won't come by observation. Gotta get us out of this hell. We must rise up, our nation. Don't you know that the kingdom's within you? The kingdom's within you. Don't you know that the kingdom's within you? The kingdom's within you.
I battle, I wrestle, continue cause clearly my flesh trying to kill me. I'm screaming for help, but it seems no one hears me. Frustration, tribulation, lacerating my spirit. Whole armor equipped with much study, I get it. If you come to serve the Lord, prepare for temptation. If not, Satan is waiting to devour. Like a ravenous wolf, hit quick like a red rag to a bull. Since this evil bull has the mind of a fool. When trials come, think it not strange. When you going through things, remember there's an escape. Fleeing from sin like the serpent that slithers. Abstain from the sin that's within us. Deliver through scriptures. Thorns that buffet, Christ's grace is sufficient.
Gotta put a work in Israel. The kingdom won't come by observation. Gotta get us out of this hell. We must rise up our nation. Don't you know that the kingdom's within you? The kingdom's within you. Don't you know that the kingdom's within you? The kingdom's within you. Gotta put a work in Israel. The kingdom won't come by observation. Gotta get us out of this hell. We must rise up our nation. Don't you know that the kingdom's within you? The kingdom's within you. Don't you know that the kingdom's within you? The kingdom's within you.
Shalom Israel.
Be young.
James 5:16 says, confess your faults one to another and pray for one another, that ye may be healed. The effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. Yeah. I'm guilty for my pride. I'm guilty 'cause I lie. I'm guilty for my wicked ways. I'm guilty 'cause of sin. I serve my own flesh, and for that I deserve death. Ain't nothing new under the sun. If it wasn't for His grace, I'd be done. I'm guilty, Lord. I'm guilty, Lord. I enjoy the blunt too much. Lust is my best friend. I drink till I can't see. I killed a man, maybe 2 or 3. I'm guilty, Lord. I'm guilty, Lord.
Be young.
I'm guilty, Lord. I'm guilty, Lord. Lord, my garments are way too red. Lord, I am meant to be. Lord, I am losing sleep. Lord, can your laws renew me? 'Cause I'm guilty, Lord. I'm guilty, Lord. I'm guilty, Lord. I'm guilty, Lord. I'm guilty for covetousness. I'm guilty 'cause of sin. made them captives, saying, we have sinned and we have done perversely. We have committed wickedness. I'm guilty, Lord. I'm guilty.
All right, we got sound going through everywhere, Facebook and YouTube, Periscope. We got sound. All praise, all praise, all praise, all praise. All right, there, Israel. We're gonna continue back to what we was going into this class. Like I said, tonight is gonna be a class on interracial marriages. As you look through the Bible, by us being God chosen people, that was one of God's laws for us not to marry outside of our nation. And once you look in our nation as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we all have married into other nations and allowed them into our nation. And that's one of God's laws for us not to do. So hopefully tonight, as we go through this class, everybody will get a good understanding to know that it is against God's laws that we should not marry outside of our nation. So with that, we're going to jump right into it. And we're going to start in the book of Genesis, because we have a tendency to always say God do not change. Once God give a commandment and an order, he don't decide to change his mind. It's already made up. So we're going to start in Genesis. We're going to pull a few scriptures to show. And from there, we're going to get on down to it. We're going to do it step by step. So we're going to start with Genesis chapter 1, verse 11. We're going to read 11 and 12. Read.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 11. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after its kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth, and it was so.
Stop. So now God say, let it be yielding fruit after his kind. Brother Ben Zion, if you don't mind, type in and find it, pull up the definition after his kind, just as it's spelled in the Bible, after his kind, and let's get the full definition of what God meaning of that. Because God is very precise about the words that he used. You know what I'm saying? He don't use nothing that's confusing. So we're going to get this definition so we can get a better understanding of what God's saying here. And it's going to help explain better why God didn't want anything to mix. You got the definition, my brother?
I'm sorry, what was it? What was the word, the definition? I mean, the word you wanted
type in the definition, to type in after his kind.
After his kind.
Type it in just like that, and you should pull it up.
All right, after his kind. I do apologize, I'm not running. So here we go. The phrase after his kind signifies that a destination exists between kinds, and that each kind carries a genetic information necessary for the production of descendants.
So that means it's separate. That means everything was after its kind to be distinguished, definite between a difference between when God said after his kind. So when he say after its kind of its own, of itself upon this earth, that means God intended for when he said, let the fruits, let the seeds yield, the herb of the yielding seed to bring forth fruit trees. He was intending not for the apple tree to mix with the orange tree. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want that mixing. It was to stay by itself. You know what I'm saying? Read verse 12.
And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seeds after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind, and God saw that it was good.
So God saw that it was good. So everything God did, he knew that it was perfect and it was good. He didn't want it to mix. And if you look at the type of words that he used, his, you know what I'm saying? He made sure it was possessive. It wasn't nothing that he left wide open. It was possessive. So we're going to leave there and we're going to jump over to Genesis chapter 20. And we're going to read from 20 to 23, my brother. Read that.
You say it again now?
Read Genesis chapter 1, verse 20 through 23.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 20. And God said, let the water bring forth abundantly the moving creatures that have life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the opening firmament of heaven. And God created great whales and every living creature that moveth, which the water brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good.
So everything you notice, God say after his kind. So we see when he created the yielding seed for the fruit trees, he wanted each fruit tree to have after his kind, not the mix, but his kind. Now we getting over to the animals, and we seeing God commanding it to stay with its kind. The birds to be with the birds. So the vultures gonna multiply with the vultures. They ain't gonna get with the hawks, and the vultures and the hawks gonna mix together and make more birds. That ain't what God want. He gave everything a distinguished order. And we're gonna go on, and you're gonna see as we go through these scriptures, it's gonna show more and more that God don't like that. Okay. Finish reading. You read 20 down to 22, right? 21.
I want 22 now.
Go on and read verse 22. Yeah, read 22.
And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth.
And let fire multiply on the earth. If you notice in the scripture, it didn't say let the fly to let the birds go mix with a full animal beast or things of that nature. God didn't say none of this in the beginning, so he made sure he was specific. Jump down and read verse 24 and 25. Now we're gonna get on moving to the animals that's creeping and see if God see about how you feel about them mixing. We're gonna go down to details about this. Read on.
And God said, let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping things, and beasts of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good.
And God saw that it was good. And if you notice, even when he made it to the animals, he precisely with the name and out. He let the cattle after its kind, you know what I'm saying? In the creeping things after its kind. It was breaking it down to you. And now let's just use our common sense, people. If God intended for something to be mixed that he created, have you ever seen a cow and a horse have animals together? You know, you don't see the horse go breed with the cow, you know what I'm saying? Or the cow breed with the lion. You know what I'm saying? You don't see them things when you look at the animal nature of the world. If us as human beings would just slow down and look at the animals that God created, you will see that they even know how to stay in order according to their kind. They don't get outside their area. They stay in their lane. You know what I'm saying? You don't see lions going over there to run with no cheetahs. You know what I'm saying? And breed, that ain't how it go. That ain't how God intended it. So we're gonna leave there, and we're gonna jump over, and we're gonna jump down to go to Genesis chapter 24, my brother. Now, our forefathers, they knew that God did not want interracial marriages. They knew Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, they knew this, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna jump over to Genesis 24, and we're gonna read. We're gonna start at verse 3 and 4.
Genesis chapter 24, verse 3. And I will make thee swear by the Lord, the God of heavens and the God of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell.
Stop right there. So let me bring everybody up to speed. What we got right here, you know, God made a covenant between Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God made a promise to Abraham that he will make a covenant with his seed. So at this time, Abraham was in the land of the Canaanites, and you know, he got his son Isaac. So he did not want Isaac to marry the daughters of the Canaanites at this time. So to make sure God's laws would be applied, because that was against one of God's laws, he made sure that his head chief servant, he swore him to an oath that, listen, because Abraham was up in age, he said, listen, make sure that my son Isaac don't marry one of these daughters of the Canaanites over here. Go back to my kindred of my country where I come from. So this is what we got going on right here in the mix of this, what we reading here. And watch what Abraham tell his servant to make sure he do. But start that at 3 at the top again for me, brother, if you don't mind.
Genesis chapter 24, verse 3. And I will make thee swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell.
He read?
But thou shalt go unto my country and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son Isaac.
So he said to my kindreds, meaning he telling his servant, listen, you go find a wife for my son Isaac from my kin people amongst my kin people. You know what I'm saying? That's who you go get for my son to marry, not none of these other nations of people. You know what I'm saying? Go get her from over there. You know what I'm saying? So in the mix of that, that was just, we went there just to show you that even the forefather Abraham did not want his son Isaac to marry a woman of the other nation where they was living there, in the land that they was in, you know, in the land that they was in. He didn't want that. So now we're gonna go further on. We're gonna jump over there to Genesis chapter 27. Go to Genesis chapter 27 for my brother.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna start at verse 46. Read verse 46, and then we're gonna leave verse 46, and we'll jump down to chapter 28, verse 4 and 5.
He said Genesis chapter 27, verse 46.
Yes, sir. Very last verse.
And Rebekah said to Isaac, I am weary of my life because of the daughters of Heth. If Jacob take a wife of the daughters of Heth.
Stop right there. Now listen, if it was okay, and this an Israelite sister here, if it was okay for our people to marry other nation, and if it was not against God's laws, why would this mother be worried and weary of her son to marry the women of the land where they're at? Why would she be worried of that? She don't want that. She don't want that to take place, because that will make God angry. You know what I'm saying? To do that. So she was making sure that this would not take place. So she was speaking up on it. So keep reading, my brother.
Such as these which are of the daughters of the land, what good shall my life do me?
She said, what good that life gonna do me? To watch my son marry one of these bond women, because that's what they were. They was bond women. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna let that take place. So jump down to verse chapter 28, verse 4 and verse 5, and read that for me, my brother.
Genesis chapter 28, verse 4. And give thee the blessing of Abraham to thee and to thy seed with thee, that thou mayest inherit the land wherein thou art a stranger, which God have given unto Abraham.
Stop
And
right there. So she knew, stop. So she knew. Look what it says now. It says that thou mayest inherit the land wherein thou art a stranger, which God gave unto Abraham. Because you got to look at it. If we end up letting our daughters marry a man from another nation, and we in our land, and she have a son by that man, now that oldest child that she had by the man of another nation will be inherited to some of the land that we own, because the father gonna leave what he got to his children. So she didn't want us to. She knew that we was going. This land was for us. It wasn't for the other nation. It was for us. So she was making sure that that wasn't taking place. Read verse 5.
and Isaac sent away Jacob, and he went to Padan- Panorama unto Laban, son of Bethuel, the Syrian, the brother of Rebekah, Jacob and Esau's mother.
So that lets you know that even Isaac, the father of Jacob, said, "Hey son, hey boy, get up and go. Go over there where your kindred's at and find a wife from over that way." So watch how as it go on, you're gonna notice that our forefathers knew not to let their children marry outside our nation. Us as a race of people nowadays, we've been stripped of our inheritance, and we don't know who we are as a race of people, and we don't understand the importance of us staying inside our race of people. We don't know the importance of it. That's why it's very important for us to come back to who we are according to this Bible, so we can be taught and learned all over again the value of us staying amongst our people. That's the importance of this. So we're gonna leave there, my brother, and we're gonna jump over to Exodus chapter 34, and we're gonna start at verse 11, and we're gonna read down to verse 16. We're gonna get some more understanding of this interracial marriage.
Exodus chapter 34, verse 11. Observe thou that which I command thee this day. Behold, I drive out before thee the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites.
Stop
Take
right there.
heed-
Stop right there 1 second, my brother. Stop right there for 1 second. Pay attention to what the scripture just says. How many nations of people that God is driving out to show you what all, for me, myself, I come from a Christian background. I can't speak for a lot of other people, but I come from a Christian background. And I was always taught all my life that God loved everybody. He created everybody equal. You know what I'm saying? When Jesus died for everybody. Well, if that was so, look like from the front of this Bible, it wouldn't make sense for God to drive out all these other nations of people just for one group of people. If that was so that lets you know right there that God never intended for us to mix with the other nation of people, because he was driving them out from amongst around us. So he driving them out, and watch what he say. Pick up at verse 12.
Take heed to thyself, lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land whither thou goest, lest it be for a snare in the midst of thee.
So why would it be a snare? Because of the simple fact, if we was to start making marriages with these people, a covenant with these people, I let my daughter marry your son, you know what I'm saying? You let your daughter marry my son, you know what I'm saying? We start making an agreement with them that we'll do these things, you know what I'm saying? It will become to be a snare. You know what I'm saying? It would be a snare. And as we go on, you're going to see how it become to be a snare. You know what? Hold that for 1 second, brother. I want to pull one point. One reason why God say this. Go to Exodus chapter 20 and read verse 3 for me right quick. Exodus chapter 20 and read verse 3 right quick for me, if you don't mind.
Exodus chapter 20, verse 3. Thou shalt have no other God before me.
Stop right there. God said, thou shalt have no other God before me. So Israel, y'all write that little note down, because we're going to come right back to that same commandment. You know what I'm saying? And God going to stretch that out as we go through the scriptures. He said, thou shalt have no other God before me. Pick back up and read at verse 13. Keep reading.
Exodus chapter 34, verse 13. But ye shall destroy their altars, break down their images, and cut down their groves.
So God say, destroy everything. When you get in this land, destroy everything of this. Get rid of it. Burn it up. Tear it up. Get it away from around you. You don't need this amongst you. So he wanted us to get away with anything that they dealt with over that way. Keep reading.
For thou shalt worship no other God. For the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God.
Then we just read that in Exodus chapter 20, verse 3, thou shalt have no other God before me. So what God was letting us know right here, that listen, if y'all make a covenant with these people, they're going to be a snare to you. You'll mess right around and you'll get to worshiping their God. What our people don't understand, God is not their God. You know what I'm saying? And as we go through the scriptures, you're going to see that. You're going to see that. Read verse 15 and 16 for me, brother.
Lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go whoring after their gods, and do sacrifice unto their gods, and one call thee, and thou eat of his sacrifice.
So stop. How did we go about sacrificing to the God? So let's look at it now today. Let's bring it up to speed. We celebrate Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, Mother's Day, Father's Day, your birthday, all these different gods. You know what I'm saying? That it don't have nothing to do with the God of this Bible, the God of Israel. It has nothing to do with the God of this Israel. So when it say we'll go a whoring, we're going a whoring after their gods. We want to live the way that we live in, the way that they want us to live right now. If you look in, when I walked in Walmart, I want to say in, was it August? And you were walking around looking at Christmas decorations already. So they was getting us prepared to go a whoring after their God. You got people already that put up Christmas trees. What you finna say, my brother? All praises. Yeah, and that's what they got us doing. You see the Halloween candy, we seen that 2 months ahead of time. Easter, you know what I'm saying? They prepare this stuff 2, 3, 4 months ahead of time and set it up in your face so we can worship their God. You might not even be thinking about buying nothing for that right now at that time. But if you walk in the store 8, 9 different times and you steady walk past it, now that thought is running through your head. Well, I got to go and get prepared for that. I got to go and get prepared for that. That's why God said in verse 15 that if you make a covenant with them into inheritance of the land, you will go a whoring after their God. And that's what it be, like the brother was just saying. Read verse 16, my brother.
Verse 16, and thou take of their daughters unto thy son, and their daughters go a whoring after their God, and make thy son go a whoring after their God.
So God said, it's going to call your daughters and your sons to go a whoring after their gods. How would that take place? Because 9 times out of 10, when a man marry a woman, and if he's physically, emotionally in love with her, he gonna have a tendency, he gonna hearken to some of the things that she say. She wanna do. Okay, baby. All right, honey. And it's the same way if our daughters marry their sons. She gonna hearken to some of the things he wanna do to his culture. You know what I'm saying? That has nothing to do with our culture. It has nothing to do with our culture, our race.
Right.
The laws that our God gave us, you know? So, and as we get on down through the scriptures, you're gonna see this because we're gonna go through some judgments of what took place when these things took place in our nation. So from there, my brother, go to the book of Numbers, chapter 25, and we're gonna start at verse 6, and we're gonna read through 6 and 11.
Numbers chapter 25, verse 6. O Hezron, the family of the Hezronite of Carmi, the family of the Camites.
What about you, Ed, brother?
You said Numbers 26?
No, 25.
Oh,
Chapter
sorry.
25. My bad if I missaid that. Numbers chapter
Numbers
25.
Verse 6. And
Yes.
behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianite woman in the sight of Moses. And
Stop right there for a second. I want to bring everybody up to speed. For somebody, if you ain't read this. Now, if God was about us marrying other nations or taking them to be our wives or our daughters to marry their sons, watch the judgment that take place and watch what God precisely say in these scriptures about what taking place here. Read.
And in the sight of all the congregation of the children of Israel, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacles of the congregation. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron, the priest, saw it, he rose up from among the congregation and took the javelin in his hand. And he went after the man of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through her belly.
Stop right there. Now listen, if it was not a sin in God's eyes for our man to marry their daughter, here's the man of Israel, one of the children of Israel, one of the men. He didn't took a woman of the Midianite woman, and he didn't brought her in front of Moses' face and the whole congregation. Now he didn't brought them. He didn't brought them. And do you see the act that then took place? Another brother of the Israelites stood up because he knew why, that this was against God's laws. And all this would do was, if this were prohibited to be taking place, it would be like a plague. Everybody would want to do it. Everybody would want to go whoring after their God and marry other nations of people. And that ain't what God wanted. So if it was something that was permitted, why would Moses would allow him to take a javelin and kill them both? He killed them both for this act that they done. Keep reading.
So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel. And those that died in the plague were 24,000. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, had turned my wrath away from the children of Israel, while he was zealous for my sake among them, that I consume not the children of Israel in my jealousy.
Hold on now. You see that God said, hey, by him jumping up and killing that other Israelite man and this other nation of a woman, God say, for him being zealous for me and my commandments, he kept me from killing the rest of them in my jealousy. So it was due to the fact that this brother stood up and took an action. It helped a lot of us that didn't get killed, because the scripture said 24,000 got killed. So 24,000 people got killed at that one time for this plague. But I'll pray to the Most High that this brother stood up. He had the zeal of God on. Go ahead, Elijah.
Yeah, our praises to the Most High. And letting you know also that that Phineas understood the law. You know what I'm saying? That God was against interracial marriage. Get First Maccabees chapter 2, verse 54. Just to build on that, you know, dealing with Phineas and how what he did caused God, it appeased God's wrath. You understand? So therefore, the Most High had mercy upon the rest because of Phineas.
Maccabees chapter 2, verse 54.
Yeah.
Phineas, our father, is being zealous and fervent, obtained the covenant of the everlasting priesthood.
So this brother obtained a covenant of an everlasting priesthood, what, by being zealous and upholding the law of God and appeasing God's wrath, by showing himself that he honored the Most High above all things, that he understand the laws, statutes, and commandments, and he gonna uphold that. So what we see that he was upholding interracial marriage because he knew that brother was bringing sin upon the nation of Israel. So when our people are involved in these things, it brings more sin upon us. So I just wanted to show that brother, he was zealous, and that the scripture said that he had an everlasting priesthood for his zeal, for him being zealous and upholding God's law and going against that thing.
All praises, brother. All praises. So Israel, yes, it's a sin. It's a sin in God's eyes for us to marry outside of our nation. And it's very important we come back to who we are according to this Bible. You know, the so-called blacks, Native Americans, and Hispanics, to learn who we are so we can start to clean this up now. Some of us already done it, but we got little ones that we can now train up into God's laws to prevent this from keeping on, passing on down the generations. So from there, my brother, we're going to jump down to Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3 and 4, if you don't mind.
Deuteronomy 7.
And yes, sir, we're going to read verse 3 and verse 4.
Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriage with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me.
Hold up, God say if you do this, if you make marriages with them, it's gonna take them from following me. And when you look into our nation now as a race of people that's into interracial marriages, majority of our people don't know that they're Israelites, and some of them are aware of it. But when you look in it, if he's married to a Edomite woman and he wanted to keep the laws of this Bible, and once she get to finding out that this Bible is not speaking of her and is telling him not to be with her, then he will have to make a decision. Is he going to follow God of this Bible, or would he follow his wife? So God said, the word said, if your son do marry the other nation, that they would turn away. And me, myself, personally, I done been out teaching. I have witnessed brothers being married to other nations of women. And when they hear that they can't be married to them, they walk away from the Bible. They don't even want to know that they Israel no more. They walk away. So I done seen this come true. Keep reading, my brother.
For they will turn away thy son from following me. that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly.
So the anger of the Lord will be kindled against you. So if this was something that God wanted us to do you think he would be mad at us? That don't even make logical sense. So that's part of why we in the captivity we are now, because we broke that law. You know, our forefathers broke that law. So that's part of us being in this captivity. Jump there, my brother, and jump over to Deuteronomy 70, Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 6. Jump down to verse 6. Go ahead, Elijah. Go ahead, bro.
Hey, before you go there, stay at that scripture where you at. I want you to read that one more time. Read 3 and 4 one more time. I want to pull something out of that.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son. For they will turn away thy son from following me.
So think about what God. So think about what God is saying. Who are nursing the kids all the time? The woman. So if your daughter, if your son take a woman of the other nation, she teaching them about their God. She taking your God and casting him to the side and teaching him about their God, so that when a child grow up, he done forgot about the God that his dad, you know, what got the one true God, and he done took a false God and as if it's their God. Because why? The child is with the woman most of the time. And it's dangerous for that, for our men to marry other women of another nation, because they gonna raise that child up in that fashion of what they walked in, not what our forefathers walked in. I just wanted to show that.
I'll praise you, brother. I'll praise you in the spirit, because that's so true. Because a woman's job is to take care of the house and raise the children. So, of course, the children gonna grow up after the custom of the mother. I'll praise to the Most High, brother. You in the spirit. Jump down to verse 6, my brother, and read that. And you finna see now. We finna see one of the reasons why God says don't do that. Read verse 6.
For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. The Lord thy God has chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
So God say we are a holy people unto him. You know what I'm saying? He said that we are special people above all people on the face of the earth. So people know we're not equal. God did not create us to be equal as everybody else that was created. I hate to hurt your feelings if you feel that way, but listen, no, we was not created to be equal. Ben Zion, do me a favor, my brother. Go to. I'm gonna get you to read the definition for me, but Uzziah, go to Leviticus 20 and 26, and Ben Zion, if you don't mind, pull up the definition of savory. Because God said we are a holy people unto him. So let's see what holy means. Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26.
Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26. And ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord, am holy, and have served you from other people, that ye should be mine.
So God said, I sever you from other people, meaning I'm gonna let Ben Zion pull that definition of severed.
Definition: having been cut or sliced off.
So God say, I cut y'all off from being a part of any other nation. Y'all holy unto me. Y'all belong to me. Y'all are mine and I am yours. And to prove that, go to Joel 2:27 for me right quick, brother. To bag that up, God say, I cut y'all off. I say, so he separated us.
this is the second definition, which is, can you hear me, brother? It's the which is similar, and it says, this is from dictionary.com. It says to separate, apart. Sever means to separate or apart.
To separate a part. Boy, ain't that a beautiful thing to hear?
Separate or apart, meaning apart. So.
Man, I'll pray. That's a beautiful thing to hear. I don't know about y'all, but that's a beautiful thing to hear. Being a black man growing up in America and always hearing that, you know, blacks ain't nothing. We always been on the bottom like this and this, that, and the third. Some of us done heard a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about y'all, but I done heard a lot of things. But to find out that God separated us from everybody and made us better than everybody just for himself personally, that is a beautiful feeling, Israel. If it ain't to y'all, it definitely is to me. Read that in Joel 2:27. It's just going to back up what we read in Leviticus 20 and 26. Read.
Joel chapter 2, verse 27. And ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel. In the midst of some people, to be in the midst of some, meaning God saying I'm in the middle of Israel. I'm dead in the center. I'm involved with them at all times. Can you read? And that I am the Lord your God and none else. And my people shall never be ashamed.
So God, if you look at the words that God used, he said, I'm the Lord your God. And when you look at the word your, that's possessive, because your shoes can't be my shoes. Your car can't be my car. You know what I'm saying? So we can't share that, you know? And then when he say none else, you can't get nothing out of the word none else. He specifically telling you the same thing we just read in Leviticus 20 and 26. He say, I sever you from other people that ye should be mine. That's the same thing we just got to read in Joel 2:27. What you finna say, Brother Elijah? Go ahead.
Hey, I just want to show a scripture. I want to show something pertaining to like that, how God don't want us with other people. How he really look at that thing. Let's go to Genesis chapter 2, verse 22. Well, it started 20. Well, 21.
You said Genesis chapter 2, verse 21?
Yeah. Now, when you read in the beginning of Genesis chapter 1, you see what God made male and female, like he made Adam. Well, watch this. Read.
Genesis chapter 2, verse 21. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead of thereof.
So everybody know about this here, how God dealt with Adam and what he did. Watch this, read.
And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man made he a woman and brought her unto the man.
But now tell me this, why he didn't make Eve like he made the rest of the women? Because God is specific on what he wants and how he wanted. He wanted this woman to be not like the other women. And also that he took her out of his body. That's a whole nother level of understanding. You know what I'm saying? Because how God wanted them to be one. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, he didn't want this woman to be made like the other women. He letting you know that he don't want Israel going outside of what they of their God, because you going against the Most High. You know what I'm saying? So think about that. If God, this is God severing us from everybody, how he did Adam and Eve. He severed that. He didn't want Eve to be made like the other women.
All praises to the Most High, my brother. All praises. All praises. So from there, my brother, we're going to go to First Ezra, and we're going to read chapter 8. And we're going to read verse 69 and 70.
You said First Ezra, what now? 8 and what?
First Ezra in the Apocrypha, chapter 8, verse 69 and verse 70.
First Ezra chapter 8, verse 69. The nation of Israel, the prince, the priests, and Levites have not put away from them the strange people of the land, nor the pollution of the Gentile, to wit, of the Canaanite, Hittite, Perizzite, Jebusite, and Moabite, Egyptians, and Edomites.
So now just that alone, he says, the children of Israel hadn't put away the strange people. So we hadn't put the pollution, these were pollution. Then it says of the Gentiles, you know what I'm saying? So that lets you know we can't be from a Gentile nation, you know what I'm saying? But watch to show you more why we didn't put away the pollution, but watch what we did. Read verse 70 now.
For both they and their sons have married with their daughters, and the holy seed is mixed with the strange people of the land.
Stop right there. If you notice, it said the holy seed. The holy seed. So that meaning what we producing is so special that God say, listen, don't you let this here is some, this, what you call, it's synthetic. It's synthetic, you know what I'm saying? You don't let synthetic go mix up with some detergent oil. You don't do that. You know what I'm saying? God say, get the holy seed and mixed up. So people, what we really are, we don't really know who we are. So when they call a black man and a black woman ignorant, they're not calling us ignorant because we dumb or can't read or write or comprehend. They're calling us ignorant because we don't know who we are as a nation of people. We don't know how special we really are. We don't have a clue, people. And it's high time we start to wake up so we can. I'll pray to the Most High God for his long suffering and his mercy and grace. Key read, is that all of it, bro?
No. And from the beginning of this matter, the rulers and the great men have been partakers of this iniquity.
So that lets you know that it was a sin of God. Jump over and read verse 83 and 84. More scriptures just to prove, people, that God do not like interracial marriage. God do not like it. Keep reading. 83 and verse 84, same chapter.
That the land which ye enter into to possess as an heritage is a land polluted with the pollution of the strangers of the land, and they have filled it with their uncleanness. Therefore now shall ye not join your daughters unto their sons, neither shall ye.
Go ahead, go on, finish reading, bro. Go ahead.
Neither shall ye take their daughters unto your sons.
So it said they are polluted. Now let's think about it. And let's bring up to speed. It ain't no different from then to now. The scripture says nothing new up under the sun. So how is they polluted? They believe in sleeping with fathers, sleeping with daughters, mothers sleeping with sons, marrying one another, same-sex marriage. They believe in all these different things, and that is pollution in God's eyes. That's sin in God's eyes. If it wasn't, look how filthy it is for them to pass a same-sex law for people to do. That's filthy. That's filthy. That's pollution of the land. That's pollution of the land. That's why God say, listen, don't make marriage with these people. Don't go to chasing after their gods. Don't listen, because what they trying to do ain't nothing right about them. Ain't nothing right about them. Jump over to chapter 9 in the same book, First Ezra chapter 9, read verse 7 and 8 and verse 9 for me.
First Ezra chapter 9, verse 7. So Ezra arose up and said unto them, Ye have transgressed the law in marrying strange wives.
So it was a law. See, if you notice, the scripture says it's a law. Ye have transgressed the law in marriage. So it's specific. At first it was saying ye should not make covenant with them of the land. Now it says it's transgressing the law of marriage. So there was a law against marrying other people outside of our nation of Israel, people. Keep reading.
Ye have transgressed the law in marrying strange wives, thereby to increase the sins of Israel. And now by confessing gave glory unto the Lord God of our fathers, and do his will, and separate yourself from the heathens of the land and from the strange woman.
So it says, separate yourself, get away from them, put them away from you, from their wives. So by law, if we married to a Moabite woman or African woman or Edomite woman or Ammon woman, by law, according to the God of Israel, the Holy King James Bible, if you are from the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you supposed to separate from them. It's a hard pill to swallow, I know it, but it's the truth. It's just the truth. We must separate. That's what the Bible say. Now, no, it's not telling us to hate everybody or pick up guns and go start wars. No, that ain't what the Bible tell us to do. Because the Bible say vengeance is only for God up above. But God say fear him and keep his commandments, statutes, and judgments. So our job is to separate, fear God, keep his laws, and come back to serving him, worshiping him. That's our job as a nation of people. Learn how to deal with one another. Learn how to come back to our moral values. We got to learn to come back to do that. Because when you look at black brothers, I done seen black brothers that they married Edomite women. Oh man, you know, they just a whole lot better than black sisters. You know what I'm saying? The black sister like this, they won't do this and they won't do that. And then you find a sister that they married an Edomite man, you know, now she's saying just the opposite. But the crazy part of it is, they would get, a black man would get with an Edomite woman and he'll submit and treat her so good no matter what. And the vice versa for the black woman, she'll get with an Edomite man and be submissive. But if they were with one another, they would not want to treat or submit to one another. And that's what we got to learn to do as a race of people, as husband and wife. That's something we got to learn to do. We got to come back and put this God of this Bible, God of Israel, back into our lives. It's the only thing gonna clean our neighborhoods up, our households up, or anything. This is the only thing can do it. We done tried everything else. Ain't nothing else gonna do it, people. So from there, we're gonna read, go to Tobit chapter 4, my brother. We're gonna read verse 12 and verse 13. And from there, we're going to start getting some judgments on for doing these things, or what happened for us doing these things of marrying to these other nations.
You said Tobit chapter 4,
verse 12 and 13.
Tobit chapter 4, verse 12. Beware of all whoredom, my son, and chiefly take a wife of the seed of thy father.
You see that? You see what Tobit tell his son from the door? He said, hey, son, hey boy, listen. Be aware of all whoredom. He letting them know you it's whoredom to go out there and mess with these other nations. Don't do that. Take a seed of your kind. Keep reading.
And take not a strange woman to wife, which is not of thy father's tribe. For we are the children of the prophets, Noah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Remember, my son, that our fathers from the beginning, even that they all married wives of their own kindred, and were blessed in their children, and their seed shall inherit the land. Now, therefore, my son, love thy brethren, and despise not in thine heart thy brother, the son and daughters of thy people, in not taking a wife of them. For in pride is destruction and much trouble, and in lewdness is decay and great want. For lewdness is the mother of famine.
Because why is it going to be destruction? One reason why it's going to be destruction is because it's against God's laws, and you're going to be judged for it. You're going to be put to death if you married to him, because that's against God's law. The laws never went nowhere. They've been there from the beginning to the end. He said it's going to be destruction, because that's going to be destruction to your soul, your own soul, for marrying outside the nation of Israel. You know, so that's something that we got to learn to take heed to, what the scriptures are saying and what Toby is instructing his son. If you notice, our forefathers knew how to guide their children and warn them and bring them up to teach them not to go after the other nations and marry them. You know, that's why when it came about, it was judgment for doing those things. And we finna start to get into some of the judgments for marrying outside the nations. What you finna say, Brother Elijah?
Hey, all praise. I wanted him to read that 13 one more time. I want to show the people something.
Now therefore, my son, love thy brethren, and despise not in thy heart thy brother.
So this scripture right there is telling you that if you marry to the other nations, you hate your people. That's what they're saying. You despising your brother because that sister right there is her daddy is your brother. You understand? And you hate your people if you don't want to marry your own people. And that's what we seeing in the scripture said, now therefore, my son, love thy brother and despise not in thy heart thy brethren, and the son and daughters of thy people. It's telling you that if you with the other nations, you hate your own people. That's what it's saying. That's what it's saying. Read on.
All praise to the Most High.
If not taking a wife of them, for in pride is destruction.
So guess what? Everybody that's doing it, they dealing with some form of pride. They don't want to deal with their own people. It's letting you know. And when you read the scripture, it say pride is when one separated from his maker. You understand? And if you don't separate it from your God, ain't no telling what you going into. It ain't just you marrying somebody else, but you going into a whole lot of other stuff. Read.
And great want. For lewdness, and in lewdness is decay and great want. For lewdness is the mother of famine.
So if we marry the other nation, guess what's gonna happen? If our women are married to the other nation, they gonna produce that nation's seed. And if our brothers dealing with the other nation, they gonna produce our seed, but they gonna be taught to keep their ways. All right, bro.
All praise to the Most High. And that's exactly what it's saying. We hate our own people. And we don't realize that that's what we're doing. We're saying that we hate our own people. From there, bro, we're going to go to the book of Joshua. And we're going to read about what Joshua says that's going to take place if we was to make marriage with them. Cause see, now we done got into our land. You know, we've been going to war and we starting to receive land. You know what's supposed to belong to us and things of that nature. So let's see what take place. What Josh, you know, what we get warned of, and we're gonna read verse 12 and 13, my brother.
And Joshua, what now?
Chapter 23, verse 12 and 13.
Joshua chapter 23, verse 12. Else if ye do in any wise go back and cleave unto the remnant of these nations, even these that remain among you, and shall make marriage with them, and go in unto them, and they to you, know for certainly that the Lord your God will no more drive out any of these nations from before you.
So hold up right there. So it's letting you know right here that God said, now if y'all go again and do this here, I'm not driving, because if you look back in the previous scriptures, you know, it was letting you know in Exodus and other scriptures that God was driving out the Canaanites, the Hivites, the Jebusites, the Hittites. He was the Edomites. He was driving these nations of people out from among us. You know what I'm saying? God was running them away to make sure that, hey, y'all ain't gonna have to worry about them. Y'all gonna be good. Y'all gonna be safe. Y'all gonna be in a land full of milk and honey. Y'all gonna be good. But he telling us now, Joshua letting us know, if y'all go now and y'all do this, your God is not gonna run these people off no more. Y'all gonna feel the trouble for doing this. So now we finna start to get into some of the judgments were taking place of when we married into these other nations. Keep reading, my brother.
Now,
read that out. Restart 13 at the top again. Read 13 at the top again.
Knowing for certainly that the Lord your God will no more drive out any of these nations from before you, but they shall be snares and traps unto you, and scourge in your side, and thorn in your eyes, until you perish from off this good land which the Lord your God have given you.
All praise to the Most High. Just like we were saying earlier, you know what I'm saying? The women have to raise up the children. You know what I'm saying? So guess what? That'll be a snare. You know what I'm saying? Because this my child. You know what I'm saying? She done brought this child up in her custom, her ways. Now your feelings tied up into it. So all this is a snare. And then you get to looking at, well, I don't guess it'll hurt that I go over here and do this one time or one or two times. So now it just started being like a snare, a stumbling block for you. You know what I'm saying? By us marrying to these nations now. So God's saying, if y'all do this, I'm not driving them out no more. Whatever they're gonna bring in to hinder you, I'm gonna let you learn for yourself. So that's what we finna start to see. What took place with that now. So go right there to go to the book of Judges, chapter 3 and verse 5. We're gonna read 5 through 8 in the book of Judges. So now we learning that now it's finna start to be judges. God said, hey, I ain't driving them out no more. So we done read scriptures to prove that God was driving all these other nations of people out from amongst us. So the Bible letting you know what we was taught to say that we all one nation under God, we can tell now that that was a lie. Because the Bible was naming out different nations of people. No, we not one nation. We're not all the same. We separate. We holy. Read Judges chapter 3, verse 5 and 8.
Judges chapter 3, verse 5. And the children of Israel dwelt among the Canaanites, Hittites, and Amorites, and Perizzites, and Hivites, and Jebusites. And they took their daughters to be their wives, and gave
So
their
now y'all remember God said he was, hold on right there, bro. So now y'all don't y'all forget Israel. God just told us in Joshua he wasn't gonna drive them out no more. So now we finna learn what took place while we was in the land with them. Now we finna start to see more. Now don't forget that, Israel. Keep reading now, brother, because now we done took daughters of them.
and they took their daughters to be their wives, and gave their daughters to their sons, and served their gods.
Oh, so now we done start to serve their God. Because God said back in Deuteronomy 7:3 that it would take our heart from following him, that we weren't gonna want to follow him no more. So now we just start to do those things. Now let's see what it looked like in the sight of God. Keep reading.
And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord, and forget the Lord their God, and served Balaam and their grove and the grove.
So God, so this was evil in God's eyes. But we was taught through Christianity, people, that it's okay. God love everybody. Well, look, love don't have no condition. You can love anybody. You can be with anybody. If y'all fall in love, God didn't say y'all. He said, "Hey, what God joined together, let no man." No, 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 no. He was talking about amongst the nation of Israel, what he joined together amongst us. Us that's keeping these laws, statutes, commandments. The women that's choosing to do right, to serve God, to fear God. The men that's choosing to fear God, to do right according to God's laws as a just man. You know what I'm saying? An upright man. That's what God joined together. Because the Bible says the portion of a wicked woman is a wicked man. The portion of a godly man is a godly woman. So that's what God joined together. Two godly people. Not a man from the nation of Israel and a woman from the nation of Moabites, which would be your Chinese people, Israel. You know what I'm saying? So no, God, that ain't what God put together, and don't let nobody fool you. Keep reading, read verse 8.
Therefore, the anger of the Lord was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hand of Churchman, oh Lord, Rezin, king of the Macedonian, and the children of Israel served Cushan 8 years.
8 years. So now you see where, we all got fathers and mothers. When we disobey our fathers and mothers, they take belts off or chastise us to get us back in order. God don't come down from heaven to whoop us with a belt or nothing to put us back in order or to discipline us. He let us fall to a lower state like we are as a nation people right now today. And he allowed another nation to rise above us and chastise us and punish us that way. So that's what we just read about. God's anger was kindled against Israel. So he sold them off into the hand of another nation of people for 8 years. We had to serve these people. So this ain't the first time we had to serve somebody, people. This ain't the first time. So from there, my brother, we finna get some more judgments for what we done. Go to 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 1 and 2. Let's see what our King Solomon did, the most wisest man on the earth. Let's see what happened. King Solomon was a wise man, a rich man, had some of the best of the best. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what took place on the reason why happened when Solomon married all these strange wives. And we're going to see, the Bible said that it would cause us to go to serve other gods. Let's see when Solomon did this, what did he do? And we're going to start reading at verse 1.
1 Kings chapter 11, verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughters of Pharaoh, women of the Moabite, Ammonites, Edomite, Zidonian, and Hittites, of the nation concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their God. So Solomon clave unto these in love.
So he fell in love with these women. Like, Solomon married all these different wives now, and God had already told us don't marry the other nation, but Solomon did it anyway. And he fell in love with them. So now we're gonna read on through here, and we're gonna get a little content to understand and see what Solomon did for the wives, for the love he had for them, going into what God said they was gonna do. Read.
And he said, and he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines. And his wives turned away his heart.
Read.
For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, and he was the heart of David his father.
See, so now we see Solomon that fell in love with these women. Now he actually one of the wisest men on earth, had the most riches of I can never think of, and you can see that these women then turned his heart away off the sight of God of Israel. And Solomon grew up knowing about the God of Israel, these laws, statutes, commandments. So it lets you know that God's word is true. If we marry these other people, they would turn our heart away. So that's what we're starting to see right now. And we're going to, as we read down, we're going to get more clarity on this. Keep reading. Verse 5.
For Solomon went after Esther, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord, and went not fully after the Lord, as did David his father. Then did Solomon build a high place for Cherson, an abomination of Moab, in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon.
So wait a minute now. Solomon didn't start to build their idol gods so they can worship their God. He didn't fall in love with them the way he didn't start building idol gods for each one of these nations of women to serve their God. And if you notice, it said an abomination. So the word abomination means hate. God hate abomination. He hates that. So it was an abomination in the sight of God's eyes. It made him angry. Keep reading, verse 8.
And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their God. And the Lord was angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned from the Lord God of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice, and had commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods, but he kept not that which the Lord commanded. Wherefore the Lord.
Now God came and warned. God came to Solomon twice to warn him about doing what he was doing with these strange wives. He was serving their gods. He had married these other nations. So God had came and warned Solomon about it, told him about it. But Solomon was, they had him in a deep delusion. His ears had got stopped up, and his eyes had got blind. He couldn't see nothing but to do what they wanted him to do at that time. You know what I'm saying? He went to chasing after their God. He doing a whole nother thing now. It didn't have nothing to do with the God of Israel no more. He didn't cite God of Israel on like the side, like which is a back burner. You know what I'm saying? And that's just showing us if one of our kings, our forefathers, he's the wisest man. If he fell to it, how much more are we? You know what I'm saying? Start at verse 11, keep reading.
Wherefore the Lord said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statute, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee and will give it to the servant.
So now that Solomon did not want to serve God, he didn't went into serving idol gods, chasing with after these abominational women, his wives. Now we finding out God said his punishment for it was that he was going to rend the kingdom, meaning the kingdom of Israel. He was going to take it from them. So by Solomon marrying these strange wives, as you read on through the scriptures, you will see that's how we got tore apart from being one nation to going into two nations, which would be your southern kingdom and your northern kingdom. That was the punishment for that, people. To show you how God do not like this. He don't care for this at all. Keep reading.
Notwithstanding, in the day I will not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hands of thy son.
So really what he told him here, he said, listen, he said, now I'm not going to take it from you right now for the love and respect I got for your father. Sons. Rend this them apart through your sons. So that's the judgment for what Solomon done of marrying many strange wives that was against God's laws. And that's how we got torn into two nations. Separated. Southern kingdom, northern kingdom. Keep reading, verse 13.
Howbeit, I will not rend away all the kingdom, but will give one tribe to thy son for David, my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen.
Okay, all praises, because we was chosen by God as a nation of Israel. Now, we just got a few more scripture, Israel. Just bear with me just for a few more minutes. I got a few more scripture, and we'll be wrapping it up here. We're going to go to the book of Ezra, chapter 9, and we're going to read verse 1 and 2.
Ezra chapter 9. Now when these things were done, the prince came to me saying, the people of Israel and the priests and the Levites have not separated themselves from the people of the land, doing according to their abomination, even of the Canaanites, the Hittites, and the Perizzites, and the Jebusites, and the Ammonites, the Moabites, and the Egyptians, and the Amorites. For they have taken...
So, keep read, go ahead, keep read.
For they have taken of their daughters for themselves, and for their sons, so that the holy seed have mingled themselves with the people of those lands. Yea.
So there we go again. We hear about the holy seed. If you notice it keep coming back. We are holy people unto the Lord thy God. We have been severed for the Lord thy God himself. You know what I'm saying? We have been separate from all the other nations. We just read about the holy seed, you know what I'm saying, had mixed with the people. You know what I'm saying? Now we read now about the holy seed again. So people, don't let nobody fool you like the Apocrypha ain't a part of the Bible, because it is. It's saying the same thing. It said the exact same thing. So we're reading about the holy seed again, that we mingling with the people of the land. Read. Yea.
Yea. The hand of the prince and rulers have been chief in the trespass.
In the trespass. All praise to the Most High. So now, that's why when we read over in of the book of Numbers, when when the young man jumped up and he took the javelin. So it will prevent the plague, because if our high leaders are marrying these other nations, what you think the rest of us gonna do? We're gonna follow right along too. Well, he did it, and then nothing happened to him. Well, she did it, then nothing happened to her. And that's what we do as a nation of people. Instead of falling back and doing what we was instructed to do as God instructed us, we just follow along, just like a herd of cows or something, and we just follow suit. So in order to keep things from happening like that, God had to make judgments happen. So many people will have to be killed to stop it, to set fear in the people. And that's what had to take place. To thank all praise to God, long suffering and mercy and grace, we got a chance to realize now that we're breaking God's laws, and we stand a chance to correct it. You know, but as we read through the scriptures, you can see that people got killed right then. It was judgments took place for doing these things. You know what I'm saying? So all praise to the Most High for his grace and mercy. We can get a chance to correct these things now. What you finna say, Elijah? Okay, I'll praise. All right, from there, we're gonna jump on over to the book of Nehemiah. We're gonna go to the book of Nehemiah, and we're gonna read chapter 13, and we're gonna read verse 23 through 27.
Nehemiah chapter 13, verse 23. In those days also saw I Jews that had married wives of Ashdod and Ammon and of Moab, and the children spake half in the speech of Ashdod, and could not speak in the Jews' language, but according to the language of each people.
Stop right there. Just like my brother Elijah just got through saying earlier, when, you know, the mothers will be the one raising up these kids. So she gonna be teaching them her language, you know what I'm saying, her customs, you know what I'm saying? So now that's what you're reading about now. That's why God didn't want that to happen. Now, the Jews that married these other women from other tribes, so, I mean, other nations, from other nations. And so they teaching the children, they got men, Israelite men for husbands, but they from the Moabites, which is the Chinese, and Ammon, which is the Japanese, and so forth on. Now they didn't marry, so instead of them teaching them the language of Hebrew, they teaching them the language of they nation. So now the kids coming up and they can't speak our language, the language that they need to know, the language that they need to be speaking. They can't speak that language now, because why? The mother got such of a strong influence. And we see that right now today in society. A mother could treat a child so bad and not never be there, do nothing for him, leave him on the side of the road, and she can still come back, and that child gonna cling to the mother. That's just the way it is. The mother has a strong input on kids, as Brother Elijah said. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what we're reading about here. That's why they couldn't speak our language. Keep reading, verse 25.
And I contended with them.
Go ahead, Elijah.
Hey, I was
Hold on. Elijah trying to say something.
Also, with that right there, it said they could not speak the Jews' language. So if they couldn't speak the Jews' language, that means they couldn't learn our doctrine. They couldn't learn God's commandments. They couldn't come to that understanding. Because why? They didn't understand the writing or whatever what was being taught. So the kids would never learn their true heritage.
I'll pray to the Most High. Go ahead, Uzziah.
And I contended
verse 25.
And I contended with them, and cursed them, and smote certain of them, and plucked off their hair, and made them swear by God, saying, Ye shall not give your daughters unto their son, nor take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves. Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? Yet
So
among
Solomon was sin. So Solomon was in a sin. Go right back to what we read in First Ezra chapter 9, transgressed against the law of marriage. Coming right back, showing you that it's saying the same thing. It's nothing no different. The Bible don't contradict itself, people. God is very clear about what he's on. He's very clear. It's only us ourselves, you know what I'm saying, with our stiff neck, our rebellious rumps. It's us that mess everything up, not God. It's us. It's us. If we stick to the plan, everything will be good. Like Brother Kazak did in class, play your part. So God done laid the transcript out for us to follow. Let's just play our part. If we play our part, everything will be good. God done laid it already out. You know what I'm saying? He done laid it out. You know what I'm saying? So it was a sin in God's eyes for Solomon doing what he did. Keep reading.
Yet among many nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of his God, and God made him king over Israel, over all Israel. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women call. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish woman cause him to sin. Shall we then hearken unto you to do all this great evil, to transgress against our God and marry strange wives?
So it lets you know it's a great, great evil in the sight of God. We don't even have to imagine the anger that could kindle in God for us marrying these other nations of people. So from there, we're getting ready to wrap it up, Israel. Just bear with me for a minute or so longer. From there, we're going to go to 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17.
Second Corinthians chapter 6, verse 17. Wherefore, come out from among them and be ye separate. Said
God said, come out from among them and be ye separate. That was then and that is now. You know what I'm saying? All it was already declared. He said, come out from among them and be ye separate. We just read definitions to prove that holy means separate. Separate means separate. So it's clear that what God wants us to do. Keep read. Said the Lord.
Said the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you.
God said, I will receive you. All praise to the Most High God. Read verse 14 now.
Be ye not unequally yoked together with the unbelievers.
Listen, he said, be not unequally yoked. So people, how are we unequally yoked? The God of this holy Bible, King James Bible, the God of Israel. And you know, it's so funny and ironic. You know, when you look in the Bible, since God done woke me up, and I thank the Most High God, I never yet so far have seen the Bible said the God of everybody. Anything like that, it always say the Lord of Israel or the God of Israel. You see that from the beginning all the way to the end. The God of Israel. So how could we be unequally yoked? We unequally yoked because the God of this Bible, our God, tell us to celebrate Passover, Pentecostal, Tabernacle. We got feast days, the new moon. We got feast days that we must keep. What makes us unequal yoke is because the other people that don't believe, that's not up from the other nations, they celebrate Christmas, Easter, Thanksgiving, Mother's Day, Father's Day, your birthday, you know what I'm saying? Your anniversary and things of this nature. That's unbelieving. That has nothing to do with the God of this Bible. That's a whole different type of God, people. I'm sorry to tell you, you know what I'm saying, but I'll be the first one to tell you, you know what I'm saying? I hate to bust your bubble if you believe that you worshiping God and you celebrating Christmas and all these things. That's a totally different God, people. The Bible tells you in Jeremiah chapter 10 not to do that. That's a whole nother God. Different God. You know what I'm saying? Keep reading.
For what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion have light with darkness?
So, what fellowship does righteousness have with unrighteousness? What make us righteous if we keep God's laws? Because we was giving God laws in the book of Psalm, chapter 147, verse 19 and 20. He gave the laws to the children of Israel. And if we keep God's laws, statutes, and commandment, it will make us righteous. And they are unrighteous because they don't follow God's laws. They follow a whole nother set of gods. It don't have nothing to do with our God. So that would be unrighteous. And what would the light have to do with the darkness? We in the light. We a great nation. You know what I'm saying? And what make us so great and make our light shine is because of the simple fact if we follow these laws and learn how to treat one another according to our moral values, our civil values, it will make us stand out as a great nation. Because why? Through our moral values, we will learn that we don't supposed to kill one another like we do in our neighborhoods. Our civil value, if I bought something from Brother Ben Zion or Rebecca or Uzziah and I tore it up, I will be responsible for it and pay him for it. You know what I'm saying? It would keep us in order. It would really keep us in order. Go to 2 Timothy 3 and 16.
Second Timothy 3 and 16. All scripture are given by inspiration of God and is profitable is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness.
So all scriptures are given by inspiration of God, people. So all things were set in place from the beginning through this Bible for Israel. All the laws, they were changed. You feel me? And hey, we're going to finish it off with two more scriptures. Go to Hebrews 10 and 7.
Hebrews chapter 10, verse 7. Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me to do thy will, O God.
Oh God, all praise to the Most High. Go to Psalms chapter 40, verse 7. Christ said he come in the volume of the book.
Psalms chapter 40, verse 7. Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me.
So Christ said the book is written in him. So all scriptures are given by inspiration of God. So brother, that means everything stands from the beginning in the Old Testament and it still stands the same in the New Testament. That's why Christ said in Matthew chapter 5, verse 17, he did not come to change the law or the prophecy. He did not come to destroy. So everything still stands. He comes in the volume of the book, Old Testament and New Testament, people. It says, come out from among them and be ye separate. So, hey, that's the same thing it told us when we read these scriptures on interracial marriage, to be separate from among the people of the land. So, people, I hope y'all have learned tonight through them number of scriptures that we're not allowed to be interracial marriage with any other race of people other than the so-called blacks, Native American, or Hispanic amongst our nation of people. So, with that, hey, I'm gonna say shalom. Unless any other brothers got something they would like to bring out or add to it, you know what I'm saying? I hope y'all learned something and got edified about this tonight. Shalom. Any of y'all brothers got something y'all want to add? You got any questions or comments on Facebook or YouTube? Because I'm not able to look at the questions or anything right now.
Hey, watch this. Hold on a second. I'm gonna sum this up. I'm gonna help put a summary on this. Watch this. Watch how quick this is. Watch how easy this is. Go to Jeremiah real quick. Jeremiah 2.
You say Jeremiah, bro?
Yeah, Jeremiah 2. Watch
Jeremiah 2?
Mm-hmm. That's why
what verse you want?
Earlier in the class, you was bringing out the seed, right? And intermingling the seed. And that was, to point that out, is very clever, right? Watch this, Jeremiah 2:21.
Yet I have planted.
Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse 21.
Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 21. You gonna read, Mike? Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 21. Yet I had planted thee a noble vine, holy, a right seed. How then art thou turned into the degenerate plant of strange vine?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Of a strange vine unto me.
So we're planted as a noble vine. It says a holy and right seed. How then art thou turned into a degenerate plant? So it's talking about this seed, right? So Mike early in the class, which I thought was clever, he was, the perspective of bringing out the intermingling of the different seeds of the animals, the herb yielding fruit and things of that nature. So to tie all of that in, go to Leviticus 19. Watch what the law says. Leviticus 19:19.
Leviticus chapter 19, verse 19. Ye should keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with diverse kind. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed. Neither should a garment mingle of linen and wool come upon thee.
So as the commandment was given unto us to not intermingle our seed, the commandment was given to the cattle. The same commandment was given to the plant. The same commandment was given to the herb and the things of that nature. They were commanded not to mingle. It was a commandment, a decree. The Most High God set the things in place, the things that he wanted in order. He set the seed in order as he wanted, right? And he said, don't touch it. When you plant your doggone seed, don't intermingle this. When you have cattle, don't breed this steer with this bull, and don't breed this with this. Don't breed, no. Leave the seed as it is, holy and acceptable. Okay? Because when we bring forth an offering to the Most High God, when we bring forth sacrifices, he wanted that natural sacrifice. Okay? He wanted that firstborn, which is the best, the purest. If you go intermingling seeds and things of that nature, you dampen or kill the bloodline. It no longer has that strength anymore. The same with us. So I just wanted to add that because that ties everything in. Everything is commanded not to intermingle its seed. Okay? Even our garments, our clothing, don't intermingle that. So how the heck, go and get Becky Ann and they're gonna Bob or Steve if you want to. Okay. Go ahead, bro. I'm done. What you got, Elijah?
I'm finna say something about them clothes, man. Hey, you hit it.
All praise.
When they were doing them sacrifice, they better not have no different fabric mixed together coming to him.
Nah, that was period. That was period.
I know that was everybody.
Yeah, that was period across the board.
Oh, man, all praise to the Most High, man. I hope everybody got some out the class. You know what I'm saying? And did anybody see any questions on online?
I don't see none on Facebook.
What about YouTube? YouTube and Periscope. Y'all see anything?
I'm looking on Periscope now.
Nothing on YouTube.
Nah, ain't none on Periscope.
All praise to the Most High. Well, if that's it, no questions or anything, nobody got nothing to say. You know, with that, Israel, we're gonna say shalom. We enjoy y'all tuning in with Heirs of Israel tonight. It's always a pleasure for all us to come together. I know for me to see my brothers, you know what I'm saying, as well, for all us to be able to come together and, you know, learn something. No matter if we done heard the scripture 4, 5 different times, every time you hear it, somebody gonna bring it out in a different way to help you get a better understanding. So, hey, for those that was already aware of interracial marriages, if you didn't have all these scriptures, now you got some to add. You know what I'm saying? And I hope everybody got a better understanding of how serious it is about God marrying outside the nations. And with that, you got any questions? Hit us up at Heirs of Info, at heirsofisraelinfo.org.
Info.
Say it for help me out, brother. Help me out.
Hit us up at info@heirsofisrael.org. You were right on the money, almost right there. Ooh, you almost had it.
All praise, all praise. Well, with that, I'm gonna say shalom.
Shalom, Israel.
Shalom, Most High Christ bless.
Most High Christ bless.